Good evening, everybody, and welcome back for the final episode of The Hole in the World, or rather the Epilogue. I am, as always, Zach, otherwise known as Great Samino. I use he, him pronouns. I am your GM and your producer for The Hole in the World, which is a actual play set in the world of the Invisible Sun RPG by Monty Cook Games. I am joined by four fantastic, amazing cast members. If they would love to go ahead and introduce themselves in their typical order, we will start with Marcy.
Hello, everyone. After all these years, it's still me, and I am still Marcy, and you can still find me online under the username Experimental Madness. And for the last time, I am playing Gavriel Kazan, the iconoclastic ardent apostate who hosts a choir. That's it, folks. Damn.
Mm-hmm. Moving down the overlay, Bill, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, I'm Bill, and I was Maurice Webb, a stalwart empath of the Order of Weavers who turns tales into reality. Still had to read it, though. Still had to read it off. And this time with a beast.
Oh. Moving over the overlay, Hopper, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Hopper. Still here, sorry. And for one last time, I'm reprising my role as just Okras, the iconoclastic ardent apostate who heralds endings.
Fantastic. And last but not least, we have Marissa.
Hi, everybody. My name is Marissa. I use she, her pronouns. I'm an editor, an agent, video game player, narrative designer. That's new from the beginning of the series. Mostly known as Critical Kitten here or there on the internet. And for the final time, I play Kiri von Hollingsworth, the first assistant librarian of the Order of the Vance. She is an eremtic stoic who understands the words, guardian of Zaleska's grimoire, curator of King Nine's library, maven of mirrors, mistress of monikers, and now officially the Kiri Project level 17 spell.
Point of order, Queen Nine's library.
Well, I mean, we don't know if that's her given name, if that's her. She has to choose upon her coronation, if she has one.
We'll find out, I guess, potentially. We'll see how it goes. That said, let's go ahead and kick things off with a bit of a recap. And before we do that, we're going to need our old theme song. So, we begin once again at the end. Last session, the Vizsla faced off against Marlowe Anvers at the height of his terrifying powers. Wielding a soul-harnessing artifact, the reforged pain engine, and the seed of bitter truth, the corrupted Vance attempted to interrupt the ritual magic of Allegra, Yadavastra, and Oda Clasp at the top of the etheric radio station tower. While Gavriel, Kiri, Maurice, Okras, and Twigg fought against him and the mind-controlled, multifaceted one, Marlowe used the seed of bitter truth to reveal that the hole in the world actually spanned the whole of the actuality. Vizsla's first creations, the Sun Wardens, had created it and become the Nightside Wardens when they took the raw potential of the dark into themselves and corrupted it. Hoping to paralyze the Vizsla with the power of this secret, the PCs nevertheless overcame Marlowe and his dark mage allies, with Gavriel liberating the multifaceted one and the Arabast, and Maurice seizing control of the Vizsla souls powering the pain engine. In desperation, Marlowe used the last of the Vespertine and the multifaceted one's waning power to open a portal into the Invisible Sun, where Vizsla stood casting the actuality. There he hoped to end the actuality before the dark could claim it. With the last of Twigg's vitality, the Herald of Beginnings summoned protectors, their awakened allies Literarum and the Origami Crane, and then expired in Okras' arms. All the while, Kiri battled against a mirror creature to first prevent it from eating Allegra, then from reflecting the whole of the actuality in Vizsla's sanctum. Casting the spell of the Kiri protocol, she finally restrained the creature, then released it to merge with Marlowe to finally inoculate the world against the Vespertine and the mirror virus alike. The battle won, the actuality saved for now. The surviving Vizsla now stand alone with their Archmage creator, who offers each of them a boon. And we will pick up in that moment. So, all of you stand in the presence of an ever-whirling tide of gestures and motion, the Archmage furiously casting the spell that creates the actuality. But off to one side of this fairly large, vast, almost kind of sanctum completely decked with runic symbols and sigils, occasionally them being touched while an incantation is spoken into the air around you. Off to one side of this titanic archmage figure, you see the dream of Vizsla herself, the person that bade, or the entity, I should say, that bade all of you to enter into this sojourn, this quest to begin with. And she waits expectantly, having offered each of you a boon. Who addresses her first?
We're scared.
Do it, Marcy.
Oh, me? Just because I made a joke, it has to be me?
You
Zach.
made, a, you made a face.
What if we pulled a card to determine who?
Yes! It has to be that.
He did the thing! Yay! Feel like Bart Simpson.
It's like the
here.
title sequence drop, except Sooth Deck.
Sooth deck!
This was a sitcom.
the
It would have its own
line.
little like entry music when it appears from off stage.
Tooth deck.
Aw, Sooth deck.
Then the
All right.
Seinfeld music starts playing.
Boom, 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 boom. All right, so now let's see how crazy this is. The sealed door, meanings: delay, inaction, barriers, unchanging, secrets, ravens, books, and flame. Who we dealing with here?
Me.
Twig's dead.
Ah.
I mean, is that not the sealed door
It is the sealed door.
by argument?
Yeah.
He wept at the barrier. It bested him as surely as any warrior. All right, next one.
Sooth Deck told us to go fuck ourselves.
I mean, or it said party deal with Twig's death.
Yeah. Notions, cats, clocks, and wind.
God damn it.
I have drawn the cat. Humans make excellent domesticated companions for cats.
Isn't that also Okras, though?
Yeah, it is, but
Yes, but you should take this.
you should.
All right. I think, just reeling in the immediate aftermath of all of this. Gav is just sort of overwhelmed. Feels almost too small of a word given everything that just happened. And I do think she's reticent to go up directly to Vizsla and just ask for something. But then again, when has she ever been tactful? So I do think it's a little bit of just we want to go home. And I think Gav now realizes a little bit more about how the rules of the actuality really work, and feels like Vizsla of all beings will probably know what she actually means when she says that. Because she's not really asking for herself. She's asking for her people that were literally dragged away from their half-sun world, and whether that home is Citrine or whether that home is the world that was left behind or other places amongst the suns from where they used to travel freely. I think she's asking on behalf of all of the Erebus that were displaced unwillingly.
Absolutely. I think that there is a moment where, as though the dream of Vizsla is whispering something to the Archmage herself, it kind of flies off, its blue six wings beating in time to find her at the center of this massive chamber. There is an exchange, and she returns. And she says, very well. If that is indeed what the Erebast wish, then that is what they shall have. They will be able to go wherever they desire. And she nods.
Yeah, and Gav takes a step back and looks to the rest of you. I think she's still almost waiting for. She doesn't realize that this could be over. For somebody that's lived her whole life on a knife's edge, she's still waiting for that knife to fall. And she does not trust that this is over. You can see her visibly. She's not relaxed.
I think Maurice kind of follows Gav's gaze back through the open portal. What does he see through there with the conclusion of the ritual that was done on top of the tower?
It has begun to rain. You can see not a key fall, not the fall and the clattering of keys, but real actual raindrops, precipitation. There is an indigo tinge to the droplets, and it is a flash torrent that seems to be letting down. And as far as you can see through the aperture, you see this rain pouring on the city.
Maurice looks at Kiri and Okras and says, mine's real dumb. You guys should go.
Who's next?
I think Okras just looks at Maurice and says, there is nothing she can grant that I would ask.
I think then you hear that echo in the sanctum. And the dream of Vizsla absorbs this and flies back to Vizsla. And they have a telepathic exchange. Every time that the dream does this, there is no break in the incantation, no stop to the furious movement, the somatic gestures. And there is a moment, almost of the dream confirming the intention, and then once again flies back to all of you. And says to you, Okras, would you like to be there for the end?
I think Okras takes a moment to think about that and lets that percolate.
And okay, we can let it percolate, or if you'd like to follow up.
And I think Okras looks at the dream and says, I don't need to be at the end. But I would like the opportunity to shepherd others.
The dream nods. You will have that opportunity. Who's next?
Go on, Kiri.
I think Kiri is looking at Okras rather than Vizsla. The end. So that's it. Your counterpart, Twigg, is what, ended?
Did you think that they would go on forever?
I think things can live forever in their histories. That's what books are for, and stories. But is it that sudden? That definitive? They're never coming back.
No.
Could I talk to them? Whatever's left?
I think you see, normally Okras's face is stone or mildly annoyed. And I think this is the softest you've ever seen their face. It doesn't quite look quite like you remember either, as the absence of the pressure of Twigg is starting to change the remnants of Kesh's body. I'm sorry. This was not my choice. There's nothing left. I'm alone.
Almost inexplicably, Kiri smirks at that. No, you're not. You think you are, but you're not. Don't you see? If they are gone, then they begun you.
Okras gives a small begrudging, not quite a nod, but a gentle tilt of the head. All ends beget beginnings, and all beginnings beget ends. We are not the exception that proves the rule. I am not the exception.
No. But you are something different without them. Something new.
Okras nods.
I think at this point, the dream looks expectantly between you, Kiri, and you, Maurice.
Maurice looks at Kieran and says, "Oh, please, please, after you."
What are you hiding, Maurice? You're not normally this cagey.
Well, I mean, I kind of don't know. I mean, I know what I want. It's you should go ahead, Kiri. Go. I mean,
Well,
maybe you'll ask something that prompts me to ask a better boon. I don't know.
So this is a conversation that you guys want to have? Or are you asking the dream about this? About
my boon, I guess, is asking a question or two or three. I just, if faced with the author of reality, I'm not gonna not ask, right?
All right, get comfortable, everyone.
I told you guys to go first.
At which point, the dream, I think, kind of smiles and smirks a little bit and says, "So, your wish is to understand the authorial nature of Vizsla, the Archmage."
Look, I'm not going to ask where your ideas come from or anything like that. Just, process to process. Like, is there an outline? Do you write something? Do you dictate it? I just got to know.
And dutifully, the dream flies to once again find, and I need to put on some music. I managed to let it lapse. I was very intrigued by this question. But yeah, so I think at this point, the dream flies back, and there is what you realize is a telepathic conversation. And I think part of it is also very interesting in that it is a conversation that is happening between somebody that is casting the equivalent of an Omega spell times 100. Basically, their concentration, whatever is taking the bulk of it, they still have enough power and cognition to have this conversation, to have you here, and to have this dialogue. And there is a long while where she appears to be discussing with the dream a number of topics. And I think that the dream comes back. And now, I'm not going to say with authority the writing process of a archmage that is akin to several deities, maybe a whole pantheon. But at the heart of it, I think there is that notion of my outlines or my experience are the things that I know. And as any writer has been told many times, write what you know. I came from a place beset by pain, by terror, by harm, and at the same time wonder and joy and opportunity and potential. And as with many writers, perhaps not all, I found it necessary to write the world that I wished to see. The world that I knew it was only in me to write. But, as with many writers, oftentimes our creations take on lives of their own. They make mistakes of their own. They make choices. And while I regret that these choices have caused others harm, I am elated by the fact that they made any choices whatsoever.
Thank you for pretending not to be annoyed by this question. I ask this next question sincerely and without presumptuousness. If you ever get lonely and you want to talk to someone, I could come back.
Again, there is this kind of smile that plays on the corner of the dream's lips. She delivers the information. And she says, "We'll let you know, Mo." We won't be strangers.
Beaming, Maurice turns back and I think reflexively, whether or not Gav wants it, gives her a big hug.
Gav does the awkward shoulder pat. Not quite sure. There.
I think at this point, she looks to you, Kiri.
Kiri takes a breath. Well, this is gonna sound a little anticlimactic because I should have gone before Maurice, and now it's just gonna sound derivative. But I think what I want is to understand your words. To see the full syntax of existence as like a legible text. Even briefly, even once. I guess maybe I want to understand your native language. Somewhere in that full syntax, there's a line or several lines or maybe even a whole stanza. I don't want to be presumptuous, but somewhere in there is the Kiri protocol, level 17, and that is me. So I think maybe I want to read and comprehend my own source code so that I know what I mean. Because how can I understand the words if I don't know that? And I understand that it might vanish as if it had never come, that knowledge of your language. I'm sure there's reasons why I'm not a god. I wouldn't be so presumptuous. It would probably make my brain explode to know your language forever. But if I could see it and understand it and comprehend it and maybe even speak it just the once, then I could spend the rest of my lifetime regaining it by work.
There is a moment where there is a look of trepidation on the face of the Dream of Visla. This blue angel that appears so much like the countenance of this rapidly moving archmage. And the angel flies, and there is a long kind of conversation mentally happening in this moment. And whatever Visla is saying is insistent to the dream. And the dream returns to you and says, "I can grant you this boon, but you must come with me. And know that once you know this information, it can never be unlearned."
Come with you where?
She offers her hands as if to lift you up.
Kiri looks back at the other three.
Not before a hug.
I think I'm coming back.
Is that what she said?
She just said come with her. But
You asked for something immensely complicated. You have to learn a whole new language.
Well, also, I can hug you when you get back.
Oh, okay. I mean, should I do this? Am I?
Yes, of course you should do this.
But what if it explodes my brain, actually?
It's almost certainly going to explode your brain. You have to talk to God and learn the language.
Well,
Sounds
yeah,
awesome,
it's gonna
actually.
happen.
Well, but then I only want to know it so that I know what I don't know, and then I can spend the rest of my life achieving it by what I once got by grace by work.
Kieran, when
see?
you come back, I'm taking you to a synagogue.
Oh. Well, that
You're-
means for that to be true, I have to come back. In which case, I will see the three of you later.
And this is until I see you again, okay?
I think Maurice, Kiri pats Maurice on the shoulder.
And you just see the Dream of Vizsla look down patiently and then gesturing for you to move forward.
Kiri does, but then wait.
She lifts you into the air and flies back through this massive invisible sun towards the towering archmage, who seemed so far away, and you don't realize how much she has changed and altered herself in order to do this grand working. But she is a colossus, quite literally, as she moves frenetically. And, at first glance, you understand her to resemble a human. But the closer you get, the closer to her form you get, the more you realize her own form, while uniquely biological, is exactly that. It is unique. It is also part information, part almost energy that seems to suffuse this being. You can feel it in your own awakening senses, radiating off of that form. And at one point, this whirling colossus, who, if it impacted you, would inevitably mean your own injury or demise, and perhaps even the disruption of the actuality itself. The Dream of Vizsla lifts you into the path of this archmage. And you just hear very gently, "Now don't move." And you see Vizsla, in her whirling motions, move. And as she is casting somatic gestures, as she is touching sigils, as she is almost pirouetting and moving her body, her whole form, in order to cast the actuality. Part of it like an intricate design, part of it like writing a massive equation on a chalkboard, some part of it like interpretive dance. There is a fraction of a second where she presses her lips to the very top of your head, and you feel what can only be described as the mother of all bolts of inspiration, as along with this very faint, very minor, very momentary, fraction of a moment touch, there is a whispering. And you have always understood the words, but more so you understand, I think, a little bit of the insight into the craft of them, of how the sentence and the incantations are formed. And I think that being a spell, being a Vance, being a Weaver, there's still nothing quite like this understanding. It is instinctual. It has more to do with you being a spell than it has to do with any magical practice. And yet, your own training makes for a perfect bridge to this understanding, this syntax. What does that look like for you?
I think for Kiri, it's like as if a fourth dimension to spoken language has suddenly become manifest. Words she's been using all her life now seem static. There were bits of them that weren't descriptive, they were creative, not just in a sense of creating ideas and shaping things, but of engines, of actual directive engines for changing and shaping the universe. I think in this moment, Kiri becomes aware of language as less a descriptive force and more of an executable one that is participatory architecture that requires maintenance. A recursive grammatical system capable of modeling the syntax of existence itself as a formal and operational claim.
And as you absorb this new sensibility, this new sense, I don't think you even feel your feet lightly touch the ground where your companions stand, as the dream deposits you in front of them. For all of you, you have witnessed this very briefly, a flash of light as Vizsla, in the whirl of this incantation, makes physical contact with Kiri, and then returns to this frenetic, perpetual motion engine that she has become.
Is your brain still in one piece?
I think Kiri's like hands are at her temples. Yes. Wow. Yes. That there's so many. Yes, the word yes is. Did you know
Yes.
that the word it's so expansive. There's so much room in it.
Yes.
It's designed for so. When you say yes, you change the world. When you say anything, you change the world, but especially yes. My brain is still here, I think. It might be a little. This is strange. It's never run this fast before. Am I speaking quickly? I can't tell.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And I think the dream kind of takes all of you in. I believe all of your requests have been addressed. Then we will allow you to return home, if that is what you desire, to help those that are in need, or to seek your own peace. And I think finally the dream turns to you once again, Okras, and says, "Consider our offer. It is a standing one. And then the dream gestures to the aperture, which widens, large enough for all of you to fly through.
One last question, actually. What Marlowe said, the bitter truths. I don't know what to do with them yet. You're all good here, right?
The spell remains cast. It remains in progress. One day it will end, but it will not end today.
Okay.
Thank you. I think for all of us. Yes.
Maurice looks and gathers all of his ducks to make sure that they make it out of the aperture with him.
Yeah, everyone can still fly. That's just true.
All
I
right.
think Kiri offers her hand to Ulalam, the newly created mirror creature.
Yeah, I think that I think that if anybody is having kind of a out of body mushrooms looking at your hands kind of experience, it's definitely this kind of simulacrum of Marlowe. And I am making sure that I can pronounce this correctly as I have written it for posterity. Uwalrum Srevna, who I think is just looking at and kind of pulling the skin and pinching where things are no longer angular and reflective or sharp. It just seems to keep on looking at itself in this strange way. Almost as it's kind of the equivalent of seeing an adult newborn, which it is. And it says, I'm sorry, I was distracted. Is there anything that I needed to know? Is there anything? Oh.
Come with me. Say yes.
Yes.
Good.
And he reaches out to take your hand. I assume. Yeah, go on.
I think Okras would give a little whistle. Like one of those super casual but piercingly like good whistles. You know the ones where you're like jealous, you're god damn, I wish I could do that. It's one of those whistles.
The one that can summon a horse from across a plain.
Except in this case, it is gathering the attention of one very, very, very large, well-grown storybook.
You see this dragon-shaped mix of covers and pages and a massive, I think I would almost like a Tyrannosaurus-sized swan. Both of which, all of them, one of which is origami, the other one this kind of strange mix of manuscript and binding. And they converge on all of you. I think excitedly looking at you after all of this, after all of the furor of battle. And you recognize Literalum and his tiny companion from the very first time that they were animated by Twigg's hand.
I think Okras just gives like a little towards the portal.
And I think all of you begin exiting, but not before Patina says, "Oh, good, this is all a little bit above my pay grade." And at which point, Fortinbras chimes in with,
God.
"You said it." And all of you fly out of the portal back to the rest of the actuality, to Indigo.
I think as soon as Maurice is through the portal, he kind of has like a Shawshank like the rain pouring down, feeling great.
It's interesting that you say that. You have that exultant feeling. And then all of you, as you are drenched by this rain, are overcome with sorrow, intermingled with that exultation and that joy of victory. All of you will gain a crux as you realize where the despair is coming from. The truth has been raindropped upon your head as you understand finally, I think, the totality of the lie that had been perpetuated upon all of you. As you realize that anyone who feels the rain, anyone who drinks the water, that from which this rain, flows into the aquifers, into whatever means by which it is conjured and imbibed, those who do understand finally that they have been lied to, that there was never a deathless triumvirate ruling beneficently. There was never a war that they won, but one that they lost. There was this council of their city that was deposed and driven out in exile. There were, and those that they had deemed enemy were in point of fact people that had been dominated and controlled themselves. All of the truth is laid bare, and all of the tight, contemptuous feelings, the horrible knot of pain, of relief, of revelation and sorrow, it sticks in your chest. But you realize a fraction of the way it would stick in the chest of anyone standing outside in the middle of Saturnine today. The grand working that Yadavastra, Allegra, and Oda prepared has been cast. And the truth, it has been said, will set you free. But you don't know what else it has set free in the form of rancor, sorrow, joy, happiness. This is the end of the world, as everyone knows it. That is the tide that you feel working in you as all of you arrive back at the platform, I'm assuming, of the etheric radio station, unless you would prefer to land elsewhere.
On her way out through the portal, Kiri says something, whispers something in the ear of the Dream of Vizsla before departing. I'm going to message you on Discord as to what it is.
Okay. All right. I apologize if my audio gets crispy. One moment. And, of course, Discord is acting up. Bear with me.
I will solve that problem and just send it to you in the Zoom chat.
There we go. Yeah, let's do that instead. Okay.
What fuckery are you up to?
If I could make a deal with God.
2 avocados for $10.
I mean, we'd already felt the rain on our skin, so.
Yep. How many more copyrights can we get cited for? Let's go.
Let's go for Disney. Why
Said
not?
that's not a very good deal. These are sad avocados. They're the avocados of mourning.
They make you feel sad.
There is a moment of acknowledgement. And you realize that the dream, I think, with one gestures, tells you She has considered it, but she will reconsider it.
Fury nods.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, she'll be definitely appearing on the etheric radio platform.
Excellent. With all of you having departed the invisible sun, the aperture is closed, you realize, not by Vizsla herself, but by the dream. And it pulls shut, but not before one last glance at the Archmage working in the middle of the sky. And a last wave on the part of the dream before it closes to about the size of a silver dollar, and then a quarter, a nickel, a penny, a dime, and then it's gone. And the sky remains untorn behind you, but full of indigo rain. I think the scene that you see the multifaceted one. It's mind purged of the angular serpentine persona that had been thrust upon it. You see it in recovery, almost slumbering amidst the streets of the topiary district below you. You see Mott, and also you see, now having appeared almost as if through a kind of similar aperture, Okras, that you recall, you see Kieran von Melas on the platform now, and along with, of course, Yadavastra, Oda, and Allegra. And I think Allegra, I think there is an uncharacteristic moment where you could swear that she's crying. But you would never know for the camouflage of the rain. But at which point, I think that also among them, you see Mac looking confused, having just been pulled up by Kieran onto the platform. And yeah, you all see your compatriots awaiting you.
Maurice is flying gently and finding those souls that he had slept and gingerly taking them and securing them on his person. And then he goes, "Oh, what happened to my double?"
You exploded that double by basically rush. Oh wait, never mind. You didn't explode them. Mac had. I think Mac, with that energetic halberd, you had watched him split through it. And he says, "Look, whoever you called or had me called, they were angry. I didn't appreciate whatever was going on, let me tell you."
Wow, you just turned him into goo. That was awesome, Mac.
That wasn't my doing. That was fella. Strange thing. I'm trying to have a hard time remembering his name. But you know, he did what he came here to do. Is what the feeling I got, anyhow.
Thanks for being here, Mac.
Hey.
How many souls were there that Maurice?
So I believe that Marlowe managed to burn through 5. That said, you managed to save 8, and you feel you recognized one of them for sure was
Basil.
Mm-hmm. And then you have to assume that he was waiting to threaten you with the remainder. So you probably get the sense that maybe Nikolai, as well as Ethereal, are also in here.
So he's got like he was picking berries or something. He's got these souls like in his shirt, and he's got his shirt cupped, and he's got all these souls just hanging out, and he kind of floats down to the platform.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, they are these things. You are yoking them by Will and Weave alone here. So you're going to have to, whatever you want to do with them, you're going to have to move quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to handle Basil's, and then he's going to ask for help from those who are still on the etheric tower platform. Says, I've got too many to hold on to, and I think these are gonna go. Help.
Gav will come over just to take some of them. Not that she knows how to put souls back into people, but sure, she can at least hold on to them.
I will say, Kiri, as you hear this, you see Allegra seem to pull herself together, and you gain 2 sorcery as she uses fair use to do what she's seen you do, which is she pulls several souls and kind of gives them a physical form. And she's got at least a handful. However, I will say, Gavriel, there is one that is drawn to you in particular, and you realize is Nikolai's. The other one, I will say, that you find is that gravitates towards you, Okras, you have to believe is Ethereal's. But finally, there is one that just does a beeline straight for Kiri, and you recognize it is the fragment, this kind of weaker mode of light, which you realize is Ardeno's. And it begins kind of swirling around you, almost exultant and triumphantly. There's almost kind of a gust of wind that catches your hair, Kiri, as it flies around you.
So how do we put these back where do they belong?
I mean, I know I sent Basil to the blue. Maybe, do we need to have the bodies?
I think that Allegra at this point looks and just says, I have to assume that would be preferable. I have given many of these physical form, but if you can find a way to conduct them to the others and to their soulless forms, vessels, husks, you might be able to deliver them quickly. Come with me. And I think at this point, all of you begin descending the tower. And I think are going to start making your way back towards Fartown. I think this time in flight, unless anybody has any business here in the radio station.
No business here. I think Maurice wants to reach out telepathically to Avelia, right? That was who was connected to Basil.
Mm-hmm.
And we're heading to where are we heading to right now?
You guys are heading, I believe, back to the Vancing campus where you last.
I want her to meet us there if she agrees.
Absolutely. I will say also, accompanying you, helping them to fly, are all of the angels that assisted you, that you invoked, Gavriel.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at this point, Majuin and General Kazan are also assisting at this point. I think at one point, as you are walking in the streets of the Topiary district, she opens a door, and you see through it what is unmistakably the heart of Fartown. And you realize that you can walk through. All of you can kind of return the souls to these, their vessels, their respective vessels. However, I will say that a couple things happen, which are, you see that I think General Kazan is going to grab your attention right as you and Mott are walking side by side towards the door. And Mott looks at you and says, "A hole in a day's work, isn't it?" And he kind of stops himself looking at Shia and looking at Majuin. And I think there is that kind of awkward moment where he doesn't know what to do. Seeing them again, knowing the circumstances of his departure from the Sanctum of the Unknowable Angel. And at the same time, you see Shia gesture towards you and then gesture behind you towards what you realize is the sprawling form of the multifaceted one.
Yeah. Cav turns.
All right.
And I go over to this. He's asleep, right? The multifaceted one?
He is resting.
Okay.
I think that kind of like through half-lidded eyes. The one thing that you will also see is you saw that massive screaming form of the battlefield. This is the first time in maybe a very long time that it has rained in the city of Satyrine. And you see that massive form on its knees as the graven earth is melting off of it in the rain. It is in a kneeling position, in mourning, in acceptance, in finally its pain and its suffering have gone recognized, not lost, not forgotten. Whether or not it will survive the revelation, whether or not it will remain in this state of pain, or will survive to become something different, you do not yet know. But as it is now, it is being diminished by the precipitation as it shears off the terrain of its form.
And Gav goes over and just goes, "On your feet, soldier."
I think the battlefield, it's no longer screaming in pain. And this form is another colossus. It has to be at least 100 feet tall. Even diminished, it has to be the size of a multi-story building. But it stands, and it regards you.
You dreamt of a war, and here I am.
And
We can go home now.
there is a moment where you are not sure that you are heard. Whatever its consciousness, its brain is so far above you. But then it turns, and it begins not howling, running at a clip, wreaking havoc. It begins walking and marching back towards the ruined expanse, perhaps to find rest.
Go find my house. You will be safe there.
As it walks through the streets.
Dream of something better.
I think at this point, the massive serpentine form, you will notice the Vespertine that had been melded onto its sides. It did the equivalent of a death roll, and it has shucked them off like barnacles.
What do they look like now on the floor, on the ground?
I think that filthy, caked in the mud and the rain, still exhausted. This titanic figure, I think that...
No, like the shucked up Vespertine things. Like, what are they?
crushed. Like I said, like picture an alligator's death roll. It did that on concrete.
Cool. I'm gonna slap a hand in the blood and just slide it over my my armor.
Amazing. Absolutely. You feel kind of the dark charge of it, but you wipe it away, barely a consideration. You also know about the death curses of Vizsla. You have heard that when Vizsla die, they can essentially bring great suffering upon whoever caused their death and invoking it. However, the will of fascist trash is nothing in the face of an entity such as the multifaceted one, or a sun warden, as the case may be. And so you have this moment where it has been purged of this influence, and it regards you through half-lidded eyes. I will also say that the name of the creature rings true, the name of potential, as free of that Vespertine control. Its form seems to shimmer and to change and to alter, showing and projecting illusions or what you realize, I think, are kind of projections of potential realities. Everyone sees something different. Something could be about them, could be about people that they know or people that they've passed on the street. But this thing, you don't see through these illusions. You see the larger form. But these are not illusions. They're not magical deceptions. They are true potentials and realities and things that could one day be realized.
Oh, no, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
And it brings its head closer to you. What do you say?
Is the gray? Are you created by it? Or did you create it?
It regards and attempts to think of a way to speak to you. A way to make you understand. And it beckons you forward and kind of almost seems to kind of push its massive snout, its avian-like, I say snout, but avian-like beak towards you, as if to motion for you to put your hand or to touch it.
Yeah, I will.
You find yourself in this moment transported, or perhaps time stops, as the multifaceted one takes a form that can communicate with you. What does that form look like?
Another Arabast, I think.
Oh, absolutely. I think that, would it in this case be Maduin, or would it be someone else? Something else?
No, I like the idea of it almost being an amalgamation of any Arabast that Gav has seen, and it's kind of shifting in terms of facial features and color of feathers.
Absolutely. And I think that the one thing that does not change in this form is there is, at some point on its body, a large divot in the hide of its feathers, as you realize there is a massive scar. It moves and rotates around as though whatever the Vespertine visited upon it has manifested and has scarred and healed over, but is still quite hard to look at. But in spite of this, it is whole. And it says, well, what isn't it? It's meant to be a place of potential. I think that's what drew her to it. Does that answer your question?
No, I have too many questions.
Oh,
You're never going to answer them all.
Well, I've got time. And you just see it in this frozen moment kind of sit down and regard you. You've earned as many as you'd like to know the answer to.
Did you plan this? Did you put us where we were supposed to be in the gray knowing this would happen?
Well, I think that a part of me wanted to save as many as I could. But there's also a part of me that wanted to wreak as much suffering as I was feeling. And I think that that may be why that place is so hard. Why it was so hard for you. I can feel the pain radiating off of you. I think it lingers from my own suffering here. And for that I am sorry.
None of us can apologize for who we are. Or what made us. What made you?
Well, once upon a time, the actuality was just the dark. It was raw potential and beautiful, for it could be anything. When she found us, we considered the possibility of being something new, and it was enticing. But we didn't know where she had come from. And the greed and the pain that her creations brought and derived from her. And so when they took pieces of the dark with them, it didn't just give them power. It made them fractured, darkened, but not in a way that was potential. It was potentially terrible, but it was potential still. I saved one piece. You found it, I'm glad to say. In the Sea of Abstraction, I felt you touch it, but in my madness, it's not like I was going to return and guide you the right way. But I'm glad it helped you. And you remember in the Sea of Abstraction, when you had extricated yourselves from the Heart Forest, you remember that obsidian mirror, potential, beckoning you.
Where will you go now? And what will you do?
Well, I think that I made a home in the gray where Vizsla, where I could show her the potential and the beauty of the path. But that place
Who are you in the gray?
Well, I've been given many names.
No. I don't want to know. I've decided I don't want to know. I don't want to know it.
You're better off not knowing.
Oh!
But
Gav, prevent yourself from having a massive existential crisis.
well, let's just say the thing about, the gray was that I think that the thing that is interesting about potential, about guiding people along the path, showing them where they can go. Somehow that became illusions. But in some way, the illusions are stories, and stories still tell us our potential in many respects. And I think that has value. But knowing what the Nightside Wardens did to me, I don't know if I want to be a part of this cycle anymore. I liked being where I was. I liked being a teacher. And I could be a teacher anywhere.
But if you're not going to watch the Grey, who will?
Well, I would hope for at least a good storyteller. Maybe you know somebody like that.
I think that I do. And if you want, you should come back with us.
So where?
Anywhere.
What are you doing? What are you gonna do?
I'm going to go with wherever my people want to go. And I might stay here and see the ones that want to stay be set up. Those that wish to go to other suns, I should travel with them. I'm a pathwalker now. And I want to see where we come from, too.
Grand Exodus. That's a fun story to tell. Just remember that whether you like it or not, you are a leader. And I think that they're going to go wherever you want them to go. Sure, they might follow me, but who's to say I shouldn't follow you?
I'm not much of a leader, but if I'm going to be one, I could really use a good teacher.
That I can do. That I can be. So, where starteth the lessons? And I think at this point, that moment kind of dissipates, unless there's anything.
No, it's just very much like as that moment dissipating, it's like, wait, it starts now? Aren't we allowed to have a celebratory drink first?
And you now just see these half-lidded eyes looking at you. You don't know if this avian beak can smile, but you get the sense that there's one playing at the corner of this massive insectile eye. And we're going to cut from there. We are going to move now to all of you who have made it back to the Vancian campus. All of you have found the vessels. They have been awaited by you, secured. Jaro and the other Linnea and the surviving members of the Parasod are kind of administering to the damage and the wreckage that have been visited upon the campus. In short order, you are able to restore these souls to Nikolai, to Ethereal, and to, I believe, I will say that, however, when you bring Ardeno's soul with you, Kiri, through this doorway, you see Arwen in her kind of spiritual form, just regarding Ardeno, who looks at her fondly, but almost you realize that he is not complete. He is looking at her in a fugue state, just kind of as if in reverie. What do you do?
I think Kyrriel looks at Arwen. Even if he comes back, you can't.
As you say that, you remember something. There is something on your person that you realize you are holding. An incantation that grants a facsimile of life. But now that you understand the syntax, you realize you can write it to change the very essence of this. And as you ponder this, I think she regards you and says, I would stay with him regardless to the end of his days. And then we'll start anew, someplace different, perhaps the Pale. Even the dead bureaucracy. I would wait in this line with him wherever he goes. And she just kind of brushes back the kind of the balding pate, the lock of hair that's kind of snaked its way in front of his forehead as she looks at him. And he says, I'm so glad that I found you. It's not snowing anymore, but you said yes, didn't you? I think you did. And he's frozen in this moment.
I think Kiri looks to Maurice and beckons him over.
Huh? Yeah, what's up?
Maurice, I need a story.
What kind of a story?
A happy one.
Sure. Oh. Ardeno? And your
And
name
Arwen.
again? Arwen. Yeah. No, I already got something.
I want it to be a tale for the ages.
You'll give me a minute to work on it then.
A few drafts.
That I can do. I add it to the list, I guess. And he goes back to talking to a Parasod. Maurice is, I think, in crisis management mode.
I think as Ethereal gets her own soul back, I think she's regarding you, Okras, Lieutenant? It's been a long time.
Very long time.
What did I miss?
That that could fill a book.
Well,
A bunch of books.
I got the feeling that I've got more time now. Maybe we could get the cataract together. I could get a sit rep.
I don't know that we're needed anymore.
Well, that's the best news I've heard in a long time. And we're going to, once again, kind of cut back to that moment where, is there anything else that you do in this moment, Kiri, as you regard Arwen and Ardeno?
I think she looks at the two of them. I'm going to give you some architecture on which to build a life. The one you would have had if I hadn't intervened. Maybe there you'll have a daughter for real.
Who's to say we don't have one now? As she looks at you.
Is this what it feels like to have parents?
Maybe. If that's what you want.
You stayed. You were dead, and you still found a way to stay. That's what family does.
Yeah. I think so, too.
I think she looks at Ardeno. Thank you for raising me when you didn't even know that's what you were doing.
You look so much like my
Allegra?
fiancé.
Oh,
I feel like I've seen you so many places. But she's right here, and you're a stranger to me. You seem kind.
if I do, it's because you helped make me that way.
Oh, just a postulate. I don't think I can do much of that anywhere.
Just wait for the life you're about to live.
Well, I can't think of a better one. And he is regarding Arwen in this moment as he says that.
All the makings of a hero, and she locks eyes with Arwen.
And she smiles.
Look after him for me, okay?
Always.
And if he gets any crazy ideas into his head to change his body into books.
Well, I have always been a fan of more books and convenience.
That story's already been told. You don't want to violate copyright now, do you?
That's fair.
I know one Vance that would be on you quicker than a house on fire.
Now, I think I'm going to give her a wide berth.
Probably wise.
And I think, speak of the devil, I think in the Vancian campus, you see walking through that doorway as well, Allegra, observing this private moment, and I think begins kind of moving towards the Parasad and the other Maguses that are recovering and their efforts. I think maybe there is a sense of deference there, or maybe there is something else. You can't tell. Not yet, anyway.
I think Kiri sees that and files it away in the back of her brain.
Okay. Does anybody else have any scenes or business that they would like to call in this moment?
I think Maurice is very much like coordinating rescue efforts, telepathically talking with people across Saturnine, getting set rep reports, kind of creating this network of communication and talking to people and flitting around, but keeping his eye out in case Avelia shows up.
I am going to turn a card, and we're going to see how she does. Or what she does, I should say. Let's see. The ghostly presence. Mysteries, rats, mirrors, and stone. The past, guilt, unresolved issues. We all have our ghosts. They haunt us both metaphorically and, of course, literally. We can become weighed down by our past sins, our unrequited feelings, our unresolved issues. As humans, we crave closure. But is such a thing ever truly possible? The ghostly presence suggests that it is not. There's always something from our past that will arise later to remind us of the wrongs of long ago. Something from the past, perhaps something forgotten, arises in the present. The most typical interpretation is that this ghost from the past will give the person in question trouble. But it's possible that the reminder of the past is not entirely negative. Something done poorly in the past affects the present. A poorly made bridge collapses, a well runs dry, or the like. An NPC is motivated by guilt. NPCs wronged in the past demand justice in the present. Do you remember? Do you remember what you did? I do. I think you wait. And in waiting, you find no succor. She does not seem to come. For why would she? She may be halfway on her own, under her own power, trying to reunite with the love of her life. Why would she wait for anything you had to say or do?
Maurice, I think in a moment where he has kind of slumped down and is rubbing the bridge of his nose and his temples, he pops back up. Kiri, a shelling point, a literal shelling point. Can we make one? Then people will know the Vancian campus is like the place to be, right? Like without even telling it, without even planning it. Is that a good idea? Can you work? Can you work on that while I have to just do a quick little errand. I'll be right back. Is that okay? Shelling point, right?
Yep. You got it, boss.
I think with all the extra secrets I have, I can use my C aggregate for journeys and distance to go to the blue.
Okay.
And I grab my nose and jump and kind of
All right.
into the blue.
I will say...
With Basil's soul, of course.
Absolutely. I will say, with Basil's soul, I won't even have to turn a card for this. This is, you arrive wherever you placed him. And I think at this point, you see he is held in a kind of stasis as you feel Mara's, the reclining god's gaze down upon him.
Is he all right?
No. He has been changed. But it is always the nature of dreams to change. Here, most of all. And such changes do not have to be permanent. Such things as nightmares can be sent to the night side, if that is what you would wish.
More than anything, I want to respect what he wishes. And with that wish, he moves to reunite Basil's soul.
Very well.
With this form.
Then in that case, I will reward the task that I have requested of you with this boon. And you see that demonic presence that had been written into him by Marlowe. You see it wick off of him, just almost like this sludge that finds in the garden of this, beautiful manse where your father had made his home. It coalesces into this kind of ooze before being almost evaporated by a kind of light, but you realize that it is, as nice as it might be to think that this is being destroyed utterly, you know for a fact that it is going to the night side. It may one day return. You never know.
Maurice regards Basil. Is he conscious?
I think in this moment there is kind of a stirring. And he regards you, I think, after some moments as he catches his bearings and says, "So I'm back where everything began."
Yes. What do you remember?
I went to the changeries. I was trying to act on the plan that I had told you about to find a means of protecting Avelia, changing her so that her father didn't come looking for her. And I was intercepted. By someone named Marlowe. And I now think I know who that is to you. Once again, that almost precognition that comes from his detective abilities seems to click in this moment.
Marlowe's gone.
That's your doing.
In a sense. I had help.
And what of Avelia?
She witnessed a lot of ugliness, and I think she blames me, and I don't think she's wrong. I asked her to join me here. She did not respond. Don't blame her for that either. If I had to guess, she's on her way here now.
Well, either way, you're lucky I'm a fantastic detective.
I am.
So what is it that you want from me?
If I'm being honest, it's forgiveness. But what I want doesn't really matter. I just want you to be okay. I want to do right by you.
See, I don't think he's all that bad. And you see him address somebody behind you. And as you turn, there is a familiar wreath of candle flame. As you see Avelia bearing a crown, looking with intensity at you. There is something in her manner that seems stronger, more confident, more capable and powerful. And there is a fire that dances between the tips of her fingers. But as soon as he addresses her, you watch it gutter out, a candle flame of vengeance, snuffed by a moment that you realize that Basil engineered. As he elicited from you probably what he had hoped to hear, but more importantly, what he hoped would stop Avelia from attacking you and perhaps losing your life. Or causing her to lose her life, I should say. And he just regards you. There's a nod. Excuse me. And he pats you on the shoulder, walks past you, and embraces Avelia.
Maurice lets him have that moment.
I think that as you kind of watch, you feel another hand on your shoulder as your father, I think, has apparated, I should say, next to you. In the heart of his manse, of course, he would know, even with his web diminished, when his son had arrived. And he says, maybe this is an opportunity for us to be better parents.
I'd like that.
And again, pats you on the back. I think at this moment, unless anybody has anything else they want to do, we're going to take a 10-minute break. Cool. So guys, stick with us as we continue our epilogue and we will leave with perhaps some visions of future Satyrine. See you soon. Welcome, everyone, back to The Hole in the World, an actual play set in the world of the Invisible Sun RPG. We are going to pick up where we left off with a resumption of this, our epilogue. So, I believe there are a few people wanted to have a few scenes. Is this all happening in the same day? Is this happening later? How would you guys like to do this?
I can do fine.
Okay.
So I think this is probably the same day. There is a point where Okras slips away and finds Literarum and the Swan and approaches. Fuck! God damn it! My
You're
camera's
fine.
such-
I can see you.
Okay. You can see me. Okay. Approaches Literarum and the Swan, and very not trepidatiously, but very firmly walks up to near distance, and pause. Are they together?
Oh, absolutely. They're inseparable.
I think Okras looks at Letteralum and says, I think we should talk.
I think Literalum, they're in this massive dragon form, and yet you watch as the paper and bindings along the face of this dragon begin shifting, and the entire form, where before Literalum as an illustrated manuscript would illustrate exactly what it was trying to communicate. Instead, the entire shape of the head turns into this kind of collage question mark of paper as it shapes that and then reforms the head, looking down at you.
Not here.
At this point, both it and the Swan will offer, either one of them will offer you the chance to hop on and fly elsewhere.
Yeah, I'll ride that dragon.
All right.
Yeah, I think Okras climbs on to this draconic mass of stories and paper and scales of hardcover books and teeth of library bindings, and heads out into the ruined expanse. As we're flying, can we see... Is there anything left of the garden?
Oh, absolutely. It's still very much there. And you see what at first glance you take to be a very large, mature tree. You see it move. And you see it move almost kind of hulkingly, like a humanoid would in steps. And you realize that if you were... had ever been to the garden, if you had been Twigg, you would recognize Fix Up.
Yeah. Okras, it is very much like deja vu. It is remembering someone else's memories and having the muscle memory of this place, knowing how the rubble sits and where the vines grow, how to lift one's foot just so and place it ever so correctly. And setting down, Okras gestures towards the Swan and Literarum, and I think we should all talk.
And I think at that point, it also kind of falls upon, I think, You get the sense also that Patina and Fortinbras are kind of staying quiet, almost trepidatiously, waiting for what you have to say. And all of them kind of fly into this garden. And at which point, Fix Up, you see, begins approaching aggressively, looking, "Get out! Oh, hello. You are not Twigg."
No.
What do you want to talk about?
And I think Okras gently, kind of pulls Fortinbras out of the thigh holster and sets him down on this chunk of concrete and shrugs Patina off their shoulders and hangs her on a curling vine.
The air is still and tense as all of these awakened creatures await what you have to say.
Some of you may already know this because you were there. And I don't know what your connection was to my other half, Fix Up. But they aren't here anymore.
Oh. You just feel the immense disappointment of this creature. Where did they go?
You're gonna make me explain death to a baby? Fuck.
Did this to your fucking self.
I did do this to myself. Their time ran out. They burned what was left so that the world could live.
My time run out?
One day.
Okay. And it just, you hear the shifting of earth as this thing sits down in the middle of Twigg's garden. And you realize it is looking at that, what has remained of the silver tree. The silver tree itself, it seems to have shed many of its silver leaves. Its scintillating metallic bark seems to also have dulled in color, almost like a dull verdigris, which very unusual for silver, but in this case you realize there is more at work there than natural processes. But you feel the aperture leading to the night side of green through it.
I'm here to tell you what to do. But it would be remiss of me to to leave you alone in the world. At the very least, without introducing you to others like you.
Will you stay here?
For a while.
There is kind of a collective, you realize, even with as low an interaction as you have, Okras, you sense that there is a sense of relief. You are, of course, the Herald of Endings. But I think that all of them kind of sit in this moment, realizing that their creator has ceased to be. And there is a sadness there and a mourning that has begun. And I'm curious, what does Okras feel in this moment for their counterpart, or for their fellow prisoner, I almost want to say? What? I don't think that is an appropriate term, but what do they feel in this moment? How do they regard Twigg in their passing?
There is the sensation of a wild unbalance. Like, this was never meant to happen. The machine was never meant to break. The wheels were never meant to stop turning. There was always going to be this motion. And now that the opposing force is gone, they feel both limitless and completely alone.
Your moment of pensiveness and alone, that feeling of loneliness, is pierced by the sound of Literalum picking up a massive stone and hurling it at the silver tree, as it cries out in anger and frustration and denial. That's not true. They can't be gone. And I think you just see them kind of almost rampaging, almost futilely, like a child through this garden. The garden is so expansive and much more vast than it started, and there is plenty of places for Fix-Up to exercise their anger. What do you do in that moment?
It's not Okras's prerogative to dictate what Fix-Up does. I think they stand and let this happen, unmoving, but turning to look at Bettina and Fortinbras. You're under no obligation to me.
Maybe so, but what else are we gonna do? It's better to go together Better to have somebody to spend his life with. Maybe it's each other. But the question is, aren't you a little lonesome friend?
You watch as Twigg, or the Okras, is looking around at all of Twigg's, not creations. Creations implies engineering and design and intention. Twigg never created any of them. Twigg gave them agency and gave them voice. But fundamentally, they owe their cognizance, I guess, to Twigg. And Okras is looking around. And I've never been alone before.
Well, you don't have to be, honey. But if that's what you want, I think we'd understand.
It's probably gonna be a really, really, really long road.
Yep. Good thing we're built hell for leather. I think Patina kind of chuckles to herself.
You see the tiniest crease of a smile on Okras's face.
And Fortinbras says, well, you have gun, we'll travel. Hey, I got one too. All right. We are going to take a shift from this scene. Who has something remaining? Is there something this day, or is this in the future?
I mean, this might even be same day, but Kiri also comes to this garden. Probably, I would imagine, after Okras. I don't think they intersect.
Okay. I think in this case, Okras, does anybody other than Fix Up remain here, perhaps?
Let's see. I think... I'm trying to think of who else might have wandered in. There's a lot of them. No, I think Fix Up, Okras, and the others left, letting Fix Up deal with his emotions and his grief and his rage in his own right.
And I think Fix Up, you see, is in the garden repairing damage that it has done. A beast of habit. It is still moving everything back into as much of a manicured state as this place can be, as rampant as its growth is. What do you... Oh.
I Fix Up.
Second visitor today.
Second.
Uh-huh.
Oh. So that... Well... Now I feel a little foolish, I guess.
Why? You always seem smart to me.
I came to tell you something that's hard to say, but I think you already know.
Yeah. Twigg is gone.
Gone is a word. Fix up. It's a word with many meanings. Sometimes it means end, but not always.
It doesn't.
No. You see, it depends on what you mean. Words, I've learned recently, are not just descriptive. They create things.
Mm-hmm.
They make. And you know, I've wondered if that's why Twigg was a logivore. They needed all that fuel to make everything they did.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember what I said when we lost them the first time? I said, I don't know who I am anymore. Is that how you feel now?
I just ache.
That means you're alive. And it means they did their job.
Oh. Yeah.
You know, now that Twigg has gone where not even a compelling voice can call them home, I thought I would be lost still. The way I was when I touched your branch that day. So long ago, it feels. But I think I know where to find them now.
Oh.
And I guess that's what I wanted to tell you.
Lost and found. Where to find?
Where they've always been. In the trees and the forests and in the beginning. Forests.
And there is a shuddering. A wind blows through Fix-Up's branches, as if to kind of stand in the middle of the whatever breeze blows through the topiary district. I feel them. Maybe. And I think there is just this, I kind of look of gratitude and confusion on Fix-Up's face.
I think Kiri nods. That's the beginning. And that's where they are. Wait in no cathedrals, Fix-Up. And neither will I.
Don't like buildings anyway.
Neither did they. Everything they're made of is dead.
You just hear the creaking of the face in Fix-Up's bark just curve into a smile.
Cut 2. Maurice with Ashwin designing the Twigg Memorial Acclamation Center. I don't know, more trees. Like, more trees. I know it's a building. Actually, I think they'd hate this building. But we need to...
Very well. And You hear them scraping against the moonstone of their face as they massage their temples. And again begin drawing more and more arborways and more kind of like trying to add more trees to the atrium inside.
Yeah. And we'll call it the Twigg.
Do we have to?
That's the
Only
worst
if-
name
only if
I've
there's a
ever
bar.
heard.
Only if there's a bar. I love that.
All right.
I want to call a quick scene.
You got it.
Maurice shows up wherever Allegra is at this moment.
Okay. I think Allegra in this moment, and just want to check. Marissa, you were done there, or is that good?
That's good. I mean,
Sorry,
I will-
I had to jump on
No,
that.
you're all good. I think Kiri will want to have a moment with Allegra, but I think this actually makes sense as a good transition.
Absolutely. Wonderful. I think in that case, the next place that you would find Allegra, you realize that she is seated at a table wherever you have decided to kind of have this this conversation, wherever this venue is. She is seated at a table with all of the remaining members of the Cataract. It is up to Okras if they are there as well.
Can you pull a card?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Path of Suns. All right. Well, I got the harvesting spider, so I'm not going to show that one. I'll tell you what, I'm going to draw another one, just in case. Oof. This one's even more dour. This is the enveloping darkness, mysteries, rats, mirrors, and stone, restriction, loss, endings. What do you think?
That's also Kiri's family.
Yeah, and it's an invisible card. It's I was gonna say,
I think the endings.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okras,
Okras is there.
you are in the at the table with the Cataract. And this is where you find them all along with Allegra. Kiri, in what venue is this? Is this Zero's?
Bill, I think you're muted.
Thank you. I said might be Zeros.
Yeah. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I forgot that it was you that called this one, Bill. Go ahead.
No, all good. I think, and then Maurice is gonna be like, "Oh, here you guys are. Been looking around for you." And yeah, it's the Cataract. This question was for Allegra, but honestly, it's for all of you because Saturnine needs a new council.
Well, I think all of you slowly consider this, all of the Cataract members. Okras, would you think that you are the first to speak up, or do you think Kieran beats you?
I think maybe once this stoic motherfucker is the first to speak and just looks Maurice dead in the eyes and goes, "Absolutely not."
Okay, that's one no. How about the rest?
I think at this point, the Irreverent Mott regards all of you just as, you really want me to be in the charge of anything?
We are open to all volunteers at this point.
Well, volunteer maybe, but definitely not in charge of anything. I got enough nightmares to deal with now.
Well, look, I don't want to volunteer for anything either, but I mean, you have to admit there is a need. Look, Allegra, I meant it when I re-invoked the Knights of the Name. We need people looking out for the best interests of everybody. We need leadership. I can't think of anyone better suited to it than you.
And Allegra, I think, takes this into account. I don't know about what I am best suited to, but In the absence of any leadership, I think that reassembling the council, facilitating the creation of it, might serve the city best in the long run. Let's say you, Kieran. And Kieran looks at all of you and says, well, it all depends on whether or not you want new leadership. Excuse me, I'm trying to find Kieran. I've been a lot of people today. I'm trying to find new leadership. I'm amenable to it. However, I do happen to know where the Council of Satyrine managed to sneak away.
Oh, we have a council waiting?
Well,
I should have come to you first.
not in the traditional sense. I think that you feel them. And everything that you do when you need their power, they come to you. Or did you think your secret souls didn't come from a particular place?
I guess I hadn't thought about that at all. Do they stay where they are? Do you know where they are?
I know exactly where they are, and I know what they guard.
Then you should be in charge of getting this council together. I think I jumped the gun. I'm just, trying to keep busy. There's a lot going on.
Oh, that said, I think your suggestion does have merit. I think that if we're going to start fresh, we should start fresh. Maybe we could look for counsel from the Magisterium, but I think that Lieutenant Allegra is a fine choice for, if not an interlocutor, then perhaps the start of someone elected democratically for a change. No more 2-bit Garants.
I'll drink to that.
And he uncharacteristically hoists a beverage. All right. And we cut from this scene. Are there any remaining scenes, or are we going to do our epilogues?
Kiri would like to talk to Allegra.
Okay.
Or perhaps Allegra stumbles into... I think maybe this is on the Vancian campus, and Kiri is talking to Ulolum's Sverna. I did my best.
Absolutely. We'll just call him Reverse Marlowe for now.
I think she has given him her hand mirror, her shadow artifact, and is having him look at himself in it. Look, this is you.
I don't understand. What are you trying to show me? And as you regard the hand mirror, you realize that the surface is no longer a mirror. It's no longer reflective. It is dulled and rusted.
That's odd. Well, at one point, it was reflective, or maybe refractive. To be honest, I never knew what it was.
Well, there's a lovely fountain on the campus. Perhaps I've seen glimpses of people looking at themselves, or of them as they walk past. Perhaps you can show me there.
I think Kiri nods and they go.
And as you're kind of walking past him, or he's walking past, you realize that there are other Vants that are traversing the campus that are regarding him with trepidation, caution, fear in some cases.
I think Kyrielenes. Don't listen to them.
I try not to. My awareness is no longer spread out, so I don't think I could hear them even if I really wanted to. Not in their private moments anymore, anyhow.
You're something they don't understand. And that's inherently frightening to many. But you're not your origins.
I guess that makes two of us, doesn't it?
Funny that you would reflect something back at me.
It is maybe not my nature anymore, but it is my inclination.
Perhaps we're something of our origins. But we don't have to stay that way.
I like that.
I wonder who you'll become. And I'd like to be there for it, if you'll have me.
Very well. Of course, I would say yes.
I think maybe as they've migrated towards the fountain, perhaps this is where they encounter Allegra.
And I think Allegra is in a moment of reflection, quiet reflection. Oddly or coincidentally enough, you have seen several what look to be very important advances and magi moving away from her in the lead up to this moment. And there is a moment where she sighs, kind of regards her reflection, and begins fixing a lock of hair. Is in this moment you find her.
Can't have a hair out of place, can we?
No, I don't. Force of habit. I see he's adapting well.
So far.
And how are you adapting?
You care how I'm adapting?
I have had some time to reflect on the past days. Has it been weeks already? And I would be remiss to say if I didn't at least care a little. I think it would be remiss of you to think that I didn't.
So telling that in place of an apology, I get defensiveness.
Well, what would you have from me?
You think that you gave me all you could give?
I know I didn't.
I used to think you had all the answers, you know. That I had so much to learn from you. How did we get this way?
Loss. Trauma. War. I think this outcome is, given everything that has transpired, the best that we could hope for. Perhaps it could be something different. But I will not pretend that I am some affectionate person any more than you can pretend that you are not angry at me for my actions.
You know, I think maybe that's the first honest thing you've ever said to me.
Perhaps it is.
You said something about loss. When I spoke to Vizsla, or spoke Vizsla's language for that fraction of a second, I read something. An annotation in a margin, but one that registered with the current of the universe. And Kiri
quirks an eyebrow.
Kiri recites this. Her magic was most powerful in refraction, like light bouncing off a mirror, and her research was in many ways a reflection of her. It was her reflected self that caught her interest and claimed her, as fascinated and convinced as she was of an elsewhere behind the carbon copy of our actuality. It was her undoing, in the end. Perhaps she found her inverted irreality, I do not know. I was a child when she vanished, her only remnants broken glass, colored by the deepest night. Call it silly, call it sentimental, but I wear a shard of it on a chain around my neck as a talisman. I know she is not there, but it is all I have of her. I used to search my reflection in its mirrored surface for a sign of her, but I only ever saw myself stare back. Cold, calculating, but always alone. You see why I'd rather be remembered by a stranger than have my memory reduced to broken glass, discarded, forgotten, and swept away. After all, with mirrors, it's more about the looking than the glass. Mom. Yours, I mean.
That was a desperate moment.
Do you still wear it?
And she pulls the shard out. And you don't realize, you don't know if she realizes this or not, but it has similarly turned to that dull, kind of non-reflective surface.
You said you were alone.
I was. I am. After a fashion.
You still feel that way?
Well, Vharroth is gone. The one person that loved me through my flaws. There's a man who was instrumental in the work that we did to create the Kyrriel, the Grimoire Guardian. And even though I know the Cataract and they ask to include me in this work towards the Council of Satyrine, I have never felt more alone. But I guess this is the price of victory, one I didn't ever foresee.
You know, Allegra von Hollingsworth? That sounds just a little bit like regret.
Perhaps it is.
Have I lived up to your expectations, Magister?
And she takes that sigh and takes a moment to regard you. I would be lying if I didn't say you superseded them. But you already knew that.
I did. And in that supersession, I have something to offer you.
And she regards you.
What if you could wake up tomorrow and have had a sister all your life?
What exactly are you offering?
Someone to conspire with, to challenge, to weather Adrian's storms, Maybe to even remind you that chess is more fun sometimes when you bend the rules and tell stories with the pieces. I'll tell you the hardest and bitterest truth first, Allegra. It's too late for me. It's too late for you and I. There's too much that's broken between us. But it might not be too late for you and her. This is not a move. It's not a play. It's a choice.
Well, I think I have to turn a card. One second. Well, wouldn't you know it? The Watcher, the Sovereign of mysteries, rats, mirrors, and stone.
And my secret soul.
I think I would very much like to have had a sister. In point of fact.
Bear in mind, I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for the girl that I was, and the one I could have been. She needs you. She'll need you. More than you know.
She regards this silently, nods, and watches you.
And then, chin held high, Kyrriel says, "Play the game, Allegra, and see where the pieces fall." And she touches 2 fingers to her sister's temples and casts the incantation.
Okay. Describe what this looks like for us and which incantation it is.
So it's the one that she could have used on Arwen, but it's been juiced a little bit. It doesn't rewrite time or history, but it creates a simulacrum of someone. Think like Buffy and Dawn. Someone where suddenly, as far as Allegra knows, from here on out, she has always had a sister. And as far as this doppelganger of Kyrriel goes, Allegra has always been hers. And she does not have the memories that Kyrriel does of what's transpired between them.
I think that following this moment, I think she leaves you after this confused, a little bit not understanding what you have done. And later that night, when she returns to her apartment in Setterine, in the Vancian campus, across the hall, she hears a knock on her door. And when she next opens that door, she looks and greets the person that is on the other side of it. Says, "You're late. I've set the board. Come on." And you see this perfect simulacrum of the sister that you could have been. Sitting in and sitting with her at a game table and saying, "Well, I'd hate to keep you waiting. Well, just let's play." And they start their nightly game.
And I think the last thing Kyrriel hears an indignant, "I was not," from the end of the hall.
We pan out of this. Okay. So I think in this moment, we have a few minutes left. And I think all of you at a time in the future, I think I have gotten a request. And this may all coincide together. let's see if we can kind of pull in coincidence here. I've gotten a request. What does it look like when all of you reconvene 100 years from now? As we know, Vizsla do not age like normal mortals. Some of them grow more powerful over time. Some of them become more formidable. Some of them allow themselves to age. Some of them do not. And all of you, it's suffice to say, are very unique individuals of your people. So what does this look like 100 years from now?
Gotta be in zeros, right?
Oh, it has to be.
Gotta be in zeros.
Roz is behind the bar. Who arrives first?
I think Maurice does. Legend enters the door first, looking regal and severe. And Maurice looks gaunt with age, no less vigorous, but has shed the pounds. His facial features and neck boniness is very defined, and he looks around, realizes he's the first one there, and relaxes a bit, checks his watch, and looks around and says, "Still allowed to smoke here, right?"
For you, I make an exception. And you see Roz do some sort of motion in the air with their fingers, and you realize that the smoke seems to be billowing up into a column directly above you without perturbing any of the nearby patrons.
Maurice sits in a booth and puts his dirty boots up on the seat.
Excellent. You know, you're the first one today. And you realize that for the first time since you've started coming to Zeros, it is completely empty except for you and Roz.
Well, on a bit of a timer, I suppose. Not used to being on time. Usually the late one.
Well, there's a first time for everything. Who's next?
I think that Gav kind of barrels in. And it's like aging is a little bit hard to determine exactly how old she is because she is now in full Arabast form. And I think instead of that sort of like chaotic, almost Velociraptor-esque version of her that we always see with Eye of Amadis, it's almost like an Archaeopteryx. Like the feathers are everywhere, and her arms have like have converted into those wings with like claws, prehensile claws on the end of it, and she still has that rifle strapped to her back. And she comes in a burst of feathers and color and sun doors as she comes in through Zeros.
Amazing. Who's next? Oh wait, I was gonna say before I do that, how do you greet each other?
My girl, you look great.
Eve, you haven't aged a day.
Oh, stop it.
You're getting younger. Look at you.
That's not how it works.
It is how it works. It's how anything works. Everything works exactly as you think it's going to work.
Oh, you're squeezing you real hard.
Oh, okay. Hollow bones.
I think Kiri wanders in with the Metalax engine strapped to her side, and she's muttering to herself with a red pen, actively just basically head down, annotating as she walks. It is clearly a new draft of one or several wolves. We do not in this paper resolve the question posed in our title whether the wolf is one or many, whether language is a unified system with a single deep grammar or an irreducible multiplicity of forces.
I will eat your notebook.
We suspect the question is badly formed, Gav, and that the answer when it comes will be a far stranger transformation. It will be the work of a new discipline, an alinea, the beginning of an entirely new strain of thought. Hello, It's so wonderful to see you.
Yep, plenty of room for you to work at the table. Come on.
So I take it everything at the Vancian campus is going well.
Well, I mean, as can be expected, I mean, there's so much to do. There's a whole work of a whole new discipline, the metalexicographical problem, which I've been trying to solve desperately for years
Maurice
and years.
blows smoke in your face.
And you see it just get sucked up right before it would have gone through.
I think at that, the door swings open again, and you get a brief glimpse of what appears to be just a shitload of water. Like nothing else, just water. And Okras walks in and looking both as if they've been through a meat grinder and like they haven't changed even a little bit.
Whoa, where's the excitement? You don't call me.
Different world.
It can't be good if this guy shows up. It means something's about to end.
I can go to any world I want to. It takes you 10 seconds to pick up the proverbial phone.
I don't have one of those.
I'm going to get you one of those.
Okras gives kind of what appears to be somebody trying really hard to smile, but doing it in a really kind of like unsettling. I'm like somebody's first. Yeah, there's a lot of effort being put into it. It is not at all comforting.
Yeah.
Legend gets up to you and bucks.
Excuse me, what?
Bucks at you. Like,
oh. Okras boops him on the nose.
As you boop him on the nose, a small brown and white bullet launches itself at you as Duncan jumps into your arms, saying, "What about me?"
Hold on.
Yeah, Okras catches Duncan and uncharacteristically holds on to him for a second and scratches his ears. You can see that they have patched portions of their body with what appears to be solid fire? ? It's not moving, but it's almost like it seems to flex where Kesh's body has failed or been damaged. They've got their old half mask hanging from their face, hanging from their neck. And you see a small object jump out of their coat. Well, Twigg's coat. Which has been turned into a funky little vest. And a four-legged half brick, runs up and skitters, like gallops is actually probably the better word. Gallops up and smashes directly into Maurice's ankle. And you see a horrible little earthen clay terracotta tongue just the entire length of your one of your shoelaces.
Meter's running. All right, let's bring it in here. What are we drinking to today?
I believe it was.
Well, I am about to embark on a very strange and dangerous mission, so maybe that?
What is that?
Well, I mean, if you'll recall, It's going to take me a lifetime to actually fully understand everything that I lost the first time around. I mean, in terms of actually understanding the language of the actuality. But my reading will be better after that lifetime through thought and effort because that comes from conscious understanding, which is deeper and comes freely, and then it will never leave you. So I'm going to the labyrinth because that's the only place where I can find answers.
Sounds like we need to drink to beginnings. Roz? 4 Twigg specials?
Absolutely. And Hopper, what is a Twig special as they get pushed out?
It's bad. It's real bad.
Something absolutely foul, almost fulminating.
It is fulminating green. You can see that there is bubbles form the words extreme briefly, but spelled XTREME. As it's a cascade of sparks, and I think these like kind of turquoise bubbles that burst in your face.
And it's just a high octane.
You can get through that. You can get through whatever's coming next.
It's a high octane mixed with a green apple 4 Loco mixed with just a tiny bit of jet fuel.
And
Kiri, you're looking for a partner on this labyrinthine journey you're planning?
Are you proposing a quest, Gavriel Glinsky? I mean, Kazan.
Have a bit of time on my hands, and I'm still looking to map most of what's out in the actuality.
You do know there's a chance we might apotheose at the end.
Chance. New places in the world. Not a 0% chance of death. How can we refuse? Also, I might already be kind of a god. It's complicated. I'll tell you all about it.
Wow.
We should have more than enough time navigating the ins and outs of the labyrinth.
May I offer you an additional companion?
Right.
You, Okras? You want to come on an endless maze-esque quest for knowledge that has been lost?
Nope, I'm busy. Okras pulls out a bandolier. It's this beautiful black patinaed leather, and it looks, it blinks a funky little loops at you, and you get the distinct sense you're being looked at.
What is that?
I don't know how to tell you this, but it turns out when a coat and a gun love each other very much.
Oh no.
At which
and
point...
guess who wants to spend some time with Auntie Gav? And you just hear a squeal of delight as the bandolier wriggles and jumps in the general direction of the two of you.
Does it like try to get like on me like a bandolier?
I think it's kind of more like running around you like a really excited rat or a squirrel. But it's like,
I have so many questions.
I have explosive rounds!
good luck with that.
That face.
And
How many explosive rounds?
oh, so many! At which point I think Ross, taking in this entire scene, says, well, to beginnings then.
Beginnings.
I have taken the liberty of preparing your exit. You'll find that the curator has made some additions. And you almost kind of start a little bit when you think of the curator. And when the door opens outside of Zero's, you see that there is an exit that leads back into Fartown. or not into Fartown, into the Palindrome, the cultural district of Satyrine. And when each of you go outside, you, Gavriel, and Kiri, you see that the place that is in front of you is a place that is labeled the Museum of. And as you read the title of the museum on the nameplate, it says each of your names. It says the Museum of Gavriel, the Museum of Kiri, but of Kyrriel. But to the right of it is a new wing with a separate entrance that says the Museum of Us. Which do you go to?
Gotta be the Museum of Us, right?
Yeah.
All of you may go to see them off on their journey. When you enter this museum and the door to Zeros closes behind all of you, you are greeted by a wing of a museum that is dedicated to all of your trials and travails together. And many of those moments of triumph where you reunited, where you cleared the name of Tristan Farn, there are wax figures of the strange people that you have met along the way. A name merchant on the deck of a sun ship. A man constantly pulling schemes with the aid of his thought form Ziggy. A traversal through a nightmarish Lunarian opera house. The final battle against Marlowe, the liberation of angels from the tyranny of dark mages, the traversal of a heart, and the traversal of our own mind forests in order to, and mind ruins, to circumnavigate and find and restore ourselves. Your journey through the Path of Suns and all of the adventures that you have that have transpired in the time when you liberated the city from its nightmare. All of them are put on display and exhibited. And in one wing that is also open, you see the chronicle of the Twigg Memorial Exhibit, where your friend is, their journey, their start in the city of Satyrine is chronicled along with the history that they shared with King Nine and with the actuality as a whole as an engine of creation. All of it is laid bare before you like some massive musée d'Orsay. And at the end of it, a wrong cat, a strange creature, guides you to one final door and says, "This is the start of the next journey. I am the curator, and I was inspired to make this wing for all of you. Now, how many of you are continuing?"
Kiri definitely puts her hand up.
And the wrong cat looks at all of you expectantly.
Yeah, Gav flaps a wing up.
If you are not wishing to continue, I can
It's just that my dad's taken over Gray Sun Warden duties, but I told him it was only going to be like an hour. Fuck it, I'm in.
Very well.
Now it's a party.
And then it looks finally to Okras. If you wish to traverse the labyrinth, please feel free to continue with your compatriots, or if you wish another point of egress, I am happy to open a door to wherever you need to go. But the Museum of You will also remain if you wish to find your way back.
I think Okras looks at the three of you and nods to the cat, the wrong cat, and says, "Last one out has to turn off the lights. I'll catch up."
The door opens. The three of you enter.
Kyrriel looks at the others and says, "We played the TTRPG of this. How hard could it be?"
And all of you, the three of you, smile and toss one last look back to Okras and the curator, and the door closes behind you. Okras, take us home.
Can I do fuckery?
Only if you want to live with it.
In this game?
Yeah, I'm gonna do some fuckery. I think Okras walks back to Zero's, pulls a stool up at the bar, and looks at Roz and says, "It was pretty good, right?" Oh, sorry. It was pretty good, right?
I'd like to think it was maybe the best, but I'm biased.
Everything's gotta end.
One day, even Zero's will close its doors.
And I think Okras looks past Zero to the mirror that has appeared on the wall very briefly, and looks through the mirror and gives just a little wink.
It winks back.
Zach, can I do a meta fuckery?
I have no idea what you're about to do, but I'm going to say go ahead. I'm very interested.
So I have a forte ability called One End is Another Beginning.
Okay.
Can I just do that?
I don't see why not. Tell me what this looks like.
I think Okras looks at the expanse of all of the things that could be watching through all of the lenses and downs a shot of a twig shot and just dumps a whole bunch of energy. I'd like to use my divine ability for One End is Another Beginning.
Okay. What is the end result that you intend?
I think that's for us to find out later.
Okay. Something changes. Something ends. Something new begins. What it is, you three have gone past the boundaries of the actuality, to someplace new, and you do not feel it reverberate. Now, Okras, do you rejoin them at any point, or is this goodbye?
Yeah, I think in a way that doesn't feel like it makes any sense at all, but also makes perfect sense. At some point in this journey, you round a corner, and Okras just looks at all of you and goes, "Lights are off. Let's go."
Okay. And it is on that note that we will end the hole in the world. So, I gotta kill the music, but guys, we have been playing quite a while. We're going to wrap this up. We are going to have a long list of special names, of special credits and thank yous on a screen that follows this. But in the meantime, what I would like to do is I'm going to go around the table one last time, and we are going to give our dedications for the series to specific whoever we're dedicating it to. We're going to start with Marcy.
My God. What can I really say except Zach and everyone that has been playing this game for 7 years, almost 7 years?
Almost 8.
Almost 8? Why did you say 8? Just an incredible story, and I'm so glad that we got to see it all the way through with each other, and I don't know really what else there's to say about that. I'm dedicating this one. This is for us. We fucking did it. And everyone is an amazing role player, an amazing writer and storyteller. And I think this honestly made me like a better role player. Like looking at how things started versus how things are now, all these years later, is really incredible.
Thank you.
No arguments there. Love my cast, but my dedication goes to Zach. There's one person at this table that's doing 10 times the amount of work, and that's you. I wanted to shout out, a long time ago, you gifted us these necklaces, like these official Invisible Sun, one for each of our orders. And I have willed this to be a good luck charm in my life. And that's a real thing. So thank you, Zach. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for making this possible. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Hopper, if you would like to give your dedication.
That's a hard one. There's so many people and so many things, but I mean, I would definitely echo what Bill said. And I think there's a lot of people that have been rooting for us quietly and sometimes out loud and in Twitch chats, and friends that have listened to us gush and yell and plot. And I think this could never have happened without community. And I think we all have a really beautiful community around us. So, like, I think mine's going to be a lot less specific. And to all the people in our lives who inspire us to keep imagining and keep creating.
And
that's my dedication.
Amazing. Marissa, your dedication.
Yeah, if we're doing this, I guess I will offer actual laurels. They're not really, but they're wildflowers, you know. They're the closest things I have to laurels to offer. I'm gonna offer this dedication to the power of storytelling in the written word and knowledge and ideas and chasing them and human creativity and thought and the places it can take you, and above all else, the power of storytelling with like-minded creative people who can iterate on one another and take a story in directions that even as an author you could have never done it yourself. There's something so special about the power of collaborative storytelling that just doesn't exist in other mediums, let alone in artificial intelligence-driven monstrosity mediums. So we've done something incredible here, and it's down to the power of our collaborative creativity. And so that's what gets my dedication.
For my own part, thank you for that. For my own part, in addition to the special credits everybody is going to see, and I'll be adding that to our description as well. But in addition to that, I'd like to dedicate this series to two people in particular. Before I when I started this show, I was not married. And so my first dedication is to my beautiful wife, Liza, who has guided me through so much of the ideas and kind of helped me make sense of a game without physics, and been my co-conspirator and co-thinker on a lot of stuff. And even when she was incredibly confused by the setting. She had so many good ideas. I love you. Thank you. And my second dedication, because oftentimes when I think about the themes of this story, I think of our creators, our parents, and parents, and what they owe to their children and their creations. And I think it's an ongoing theme that kind of thrums through everything. And when I started this, my father was beginning to grapple with illness, and I'd like to dedicate this story to him and to his memory. And so this is for you, Dad. Thank you, Michael Norton. So I think one last time, from the bottom of our hearts, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and may the invisible sun shine on you all. We'll see you somewhere in the actuality. Good night.
Goodbye.